Hello, and welcome to Things to Keep in Mind. I'm your host, Kevin Thompson, and over the next several weeks, I'm going to be bringing you thoughts or ideas that have helped to make me who I am and shape the way I look at this world and myself and what I tell myself about it. First, I'm going to talk to you about something that goes all the way back to my elementary school days. When I was in the second or third grade, a group of English majors from the university close to my hometown came to my class and they taught us how to write poetry, or they basically explained poetry to us and had us try to write it. I don't remember what I wrote that day, but it must have rhymed because I was pretty happy when I went home and showed my mom. But it wasn't until 1985, when I was 10, that I wrote my first poem. And I remember, in an effort to be efficient, I thought that it was really cool that I could write something short and sweet and have people appreciate it as much as a book. So I made the mental note of that. But somewhere along the lines in middle school, maybe junior high, in those books that used to have collections of writings and stories and poems and things, the readers, I came across a poem about a man called Fiddler Jones. Now, it comes from a book called Edgar Lee Masters' Spoon River Anthology. Edgar Lee Masters, he came up with a fictional city or town, Spoon River, and he decided to give each character an epitaph. He wrote one for each of them at their passing, and it summed up who they were and what their part was in that little town. And I read the selection Fiddler Jones, and it struck a chord in me, and it helped me to see the motivation that I wanted to use and the results I wanted to get. And the epitaph being at the end of life, so it was a culmination of all my efforts. They were reflected in what this guy did. It was what I would hope that people would say about me and how they would remember me. So I'm going to read you this poem, Fiddler Jones by Edgar Lee Masters. The earth keeps some vibration going there in your heart, and that is you. And if the people find you can fiddle, why fiddle you must for all your life. What do you see, a harvest of clover, or a meadow to walk through to the river? The winds and the corn, you rub your hands for beeves hereafter, ready for market. Or else you hear the rustle of skirts, like the girls when they're dancing at Little Grove. To Cooney Potter, a pillar of dust, or whirling leaves meant ruinous drought. They look to me like redhead Sammy, stepping it off to Tourallure. How could I till my 40 acres, not to speak of getting more, with a medley of horns, bassoons, and piccolos, stirred in my brain by crows and robins, and the creak of the windmill, only these. And I never started to plow in my life that someone did not stop in the road and take me away to a dance or a picnic. I ended up with 40 acres. I ended up with a broken fiddle and a broken laugh and 1,000 memories and not a single regret. When I got to that last line, that spoke to me. Not a single regret. Because it's not going to be about the things that we've accumulated. It's going to be our final thoughts. It's going to be about the relationships that we cultivated. That 40 acres doesn't have to be full of anything as long as your heart's full. And so that's one of the things I set out to do. In the 11th grade, Miss Streetman in my honors English class was retiring, and she gave each of us the opportunity to take one of the books off of her shelf. And just so happens she had a copy of Spoon River Anthologies by Edgar Lee Masters. So in the 11th grade, I got to take my favorite poem home, and I've had a copy of it with me ever since. And whenever I feel like I need to be inspired or motivated, Fiddler Jones does the trick. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.